to Annette's Duets. Tonight's artist that I want to share with you is a multifaceted singer-songwriter, producer, filmmaker, teacher, and friend. Siena Friend.
Thank you so much.
Siena, you were one of the very first people that I wanted to interview right here on this stage, and you happily agreed, and I was so thankful. And then, oops, you got pregnant, and then, oops, COVID.
Yeah.
So I have been very patiently waiting for this to happen, so I'm so happy that you're finally here. Yay.
Yay, me too. I know it's been a long time coming, but it's, yeah, those things you mentioned that just time goes by, but now we're here.
Life,
yeah.
and everything in good time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that way I have you now. And okay, before I start asking Siena tons of questions, I wanted to share with you a song that we sang a little bit earlier, and it's called River of Angels, and it's from an upcoming release of yours we'll talk about. But I was hoping that you could share a little bit about the song before we play it.
Sure. So the River of Angels, I think, was the last song I wrote before I gave birth, since you mentioned that. So I was very pregnant when I wrote it. I remember I was very tired as well, which happens, but I was in this kind of like dreamy, sleepy state, and I just like wrote the song in one session pretty quickly, and to me it was kind of about that in-between state of this being before they're born. So one of the lines in the song that you'll hear is, "Between the worlds, who watches you?" So that kind of between the worlds state. And yeah, the song is pretty simple. It's like the structure is just all verses, which is not a structure that I usually write in, but I kind of just like let it be that for this song, and
that's what makes it great. A stream of conscious almost.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what you think. Here it is, River of Angels.
Thanks.
Between
I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed getting to play it with Siena. That was so much fun for me. Yeah. Okay, Siena, can you please tell me how you got started writing and singing?
Yeah. I started playing guitar when I was about 12 or 13. I fell in love with the Beatles.
Oh, you're rocking the Beatles tonight too, right?
So,
yeah. A couple down. It's a little chilly tonight.
There
they are.
We have
She's representing.
My 1.5-year-old daughter can now identify at least 2 of the Beatles by name. So we're
that is a cool mom. You can tell how cool a mom is by what songs her kids know. That's all.
Yeah. We try to give her a diverse musical background. Yeah, so I just got obsessed with the Beatles, and my dad used to play guitar, so he had a guitar just around in the house, and an old Beatles songbook that was already falling apart but had the little chord charts in it, and I just taught myself guitar from that, and then started writing my own songs pretty much immediately because I was always a writer and creative
poet,
kid.
Right?
Yeah.
Artist,
So writing my own just was the next natural step from that. Once I knew a few chords, I started writing.
And that's amazing. And I know that you've played in some bands in college and all of that, but what got you to the level that you were able to start recording and releasing music?
Yeah, I think it was also just a natural process. I always wanted to do it. So even in high school, I was recording in my bedroom with a little setup and burning my own CDs and giving them to my friends.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love that. So it's sort of I know you talked about Annie DeFranco, you were your own self-distributor.
Yeah, very, very DIY. Yeah, just what I could do.
That's
that's
really
awesome. Pretty much just me and guitar and just guitar and voice on those.
But so you were doing that even before I met you. I got to meet Siena in a workshop class at the Los Angeles Songwriting School, right?
Yeah.
And one of my favorite songs on the album, your latest album, is Look Down. I love that. And you brought that to the workshop class, and I always just loved it. And so anybody out there, go take a listen. But so you had already, by the time I met you, had already done an EP, I think, too, right? And so that came out of college.
The EP I actually recorded at the Songwriting School of Los Angeles in their studio.
Okay,
which was fun.
I think you told me. I didn't remember that. Okay.
Yeah. So, I've tried a lot of different ways throughout my life, doing it myself, doing it in the studio, and then for the last album I released, I again went back to kind of doing everything myself, and it was during the pandemic as well, so it was a good time to just really dig into Logic and learn producing a bit more, recording in my bedroom again, and that's what I've been doing with my upcoming album too.
You talked about how River of Angels had to do with your daughter, and I am going to jump around a lot on you tonight, but how has becoming a mother affected your art in general?
Yeah, really interesting question. And weirdly for me, so being pregnant was pretty hard, and early parenthood is hard for sure, and I just did not feel creative. I was my creative energy was drained, and it kind of worried me. But maybe 6 months after she was born, getting a little older, I was able to get some of that back, and just wanted to return to music as a place of joy for me. And that was really what it was about. It was just wanting to express myself and have fun with it, just do music that I enjoyed, not for anybody else, and be playful. So that's kind of been my approach with the music that I've been making lately.
That's fantastic. I'm so impressed because I know how hard it was to do music when my guys were little. So any mom that's out there making music now with a little one, to me, it's hands down to you,
Yeah, I mean, and
really
it's hard, and it's I don't know, it's for me, it's I need it,
And she needs to see that.
Yeah.
And she needs to see that. So I know that you came from a film background, and that you're a visual artist as well.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested to know about when you're writing music, I was thinking about this today when I was watching a bunch more of your videos that I've enjoyed watching, and one of my favorites is the person I want to be. Is that, did I get it right? And then the last song, like visually, I just really love those. Also the petals.
Falling pink
petals. Okay, so I love it. Okay, but
Thank you.
When you're writing your songs, do you already have a visual concept in your head, or do you start with a vision, or do you, how does this all work? Because I know so many people, artists, songwriters, struggle with the visual part and making the videos, and to you, you're a filmmaker and they're beautiful. So I'm gonna let you answer the question.
Yeah, I don't think that it does come separately. I don't really have an idea usually when I write a song.
Okay.
But that's a really fun part of it.
Yeah.
It usually comes a bit later on, and my husband is a filmmaker too, so it's fun to like brainstorm with him, and yeah, he's helped me. Like,
so do you break it? Do you just take it and break it down? Okay, what picture do I see here in this part, or do you have like a concept, or do you really get granular? I'm just kind of curious.
It's different depending on the video, but yeah, I do. I guess I kind of like. I am pretty visual, so it'll more be like a vision or a style or an image that I kind of get in my head for it. And then my husband's more like story driven. He's always got a million ideas for stories, so I'll be like, what if we do like this? Or
I also love the one in the Joshua tree, and then there's one called California. Do yourself a favor, check out some of Siena's videos for sure. But yeah, I really enjoy.
They've been really fun to make.
Have you ever thought about helping out other artists make videos? Hint, hint.
Sure.
But actually, I mean, have you ever considered that as an option? Because
it would be really fun to do like direct music videos.
I think it's something you should think about if you haven't already, because in our little community of friendship, you know, I know that it's the videos a part that a lot of people just really hesitate about because it's not where we come from first.
Yeah.
I want to talk about genres for a moment, because I'm not a fan of genres, but when we release music, we have to tick boxes and say like what we are. And I'm just curious if you have a genre that can you describe yourself in a genre for us?
Yeah.
The question I hate, I'm asking you.
I know. I feel like we all kind of hate it, but we all have to.
Right. I'm just curious if you have a way that you think.
It's been changing a lot, so it's interesting because, you know, I was like pretty straightforward, like folky singer-songwriter, but now as I've started to do some of my own producing, I feel like that's changed my style a lot.
That was part of my question. Like we talked before, and you said that your production is now almost as interesting to you as your songwriting.
It is.
So if you can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So now just like even the way I write and kind of approach like making music has been shifting. So yeah, it's more electronic, a little more pop. My friend used the term indie-tronica, which I like.
Indie-tronica, that's a new one, I think, right?
I mean, I don't know.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's pretty groovy.
It's still like lo-fi, DIY, but just, a lot of different sounds that I'm exploring, which has been very fun for me.
And sort of Beatlesque.
Yeah.
I think those guys spent some time coming up with some sounds.
It's true. Yeah, they had to evolve. So
you're learning from the best.
Yeah.
Maybe now they're learning from you. I don't know. One can hope. Can you tell me about some of your influences? We talked about Ani DiFranco, like I know that, but like...
I think there's different phases of it, because when I first started writing, a lot of those like 90s female singer-songwriters like Ani were influential for sure.
Love it.
And then I had an emo phase, and there's a lot of those bands from my high school years like Modest Mouse, Death Cab for Cutie, that are big influences in writing. And then lately, as it's been more like a little more poppy electronic, then there's more recent influences too. So I don't know. I have like my old favorites, but I try to listen to new music as well. And
when you are not writing and recording music, you also teach songwriting through workshop classes. And do you find that teaching improves your own writing?
Good question. I think it does. It's kind of the same as feel like co-writing has really improved my writing, because you get to just see the way that different people think and write. And teaching is sort of the same, because you get to witness the way that students are trying things and evolving, as well as teaching kind of makes you break things down into steps and think about, oh, how do I actually do this? Because I would say I'm a very like intuitive writer and musician. Like, I don't have like musical training really, so it's interesting to teach and know that also some of the people I'm teaching may know a lot more than me in certain areas, but you know, I can offer my perspective.
Right, and you can still help them get going. If you had a beginner songwriter here right now, what kind of words of wisdom would you give them?
Just kind of trust your instincts, and there's an exercise that we've done at Golden Lotus, which is the online school that I teach through, that my friend Gary runs, but he always does this, like, in the first class, write a song in 15 minutes.
Okay, right, yeah.
And that's a really good way of just like trusting yourself and getting past your like judgmental brain and just knowing, oh, you can do this. Like, I think songs are in us, in a lot of people. So just kind of like getting out of your own way and allowing it to come out.
Yeah, being willing to receive it.
Yeah.
That's important. And with your Golden Lotus studio, one of the things I was thankful during the pandemic is you had some open mics that you did on Zoom.
That was really fun.
And I really appreciated that, because it gave us another outlet when we were just so stuck.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And you and I talked about it, that I think you're now moving forward, you're looking to do some more community participation things with Golden Lotus out this way in the West Coast.
Hopefully.
And I'll look forward to that, because I think you're a great facilitator of people and artists, and I think it'll be a great thing.
You.
I'll look forward to that.
Yeah, I look forward to
for sure
doing more playing with you and other people live in person.
It's time to make music.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And then speaking of just the way that you just keep going, we've talked filmmaking and production and singing and songwriting. Also, you're into health and wellness, and I can't pronounce the name. It's the yoga?
Ayurveda.
That. You're into that as a coach, and I've wondered, have you ever thought of mixing your coaching with the music and sort of music, health and wellness, and all of that as a mix? Have you ever thought of combining that?
Yeah, I think, you're right on as to like getting me, which is that I have all these varied interests, and one of the
creative ADD.
Got it. One of the
it's a good
missions of my life is like, how do I distill all this down to like what is my purpose? I have combined it more with like creativity and creative coaching. Not specifically music necessarily, but just I think health and creativity are really linked, and it's like, how can you be like living in your health if you're not also like accessing your creativity or have that just like that creative flow open in some way, no matter like what that looks
what
like.
It is. All right, you and I talked the other day about how I was singing for little people a lot in my music career, and you shared with me how your daughter loves music too, and I'm just curious, do you have any hopes for her musical future?
I want her to be a drummer.
Oh, a drummer. My mom said no.
Yeah, that is could be a bit annoying. But I don't know, it's kind of a joke, but I felt like when I was in high school, and afterwards and joining bands, like people were always looking for drummers, and it was so hard to find a good drummer. Like everyone played guitar. And
girl drummers. We need
are
some
so
girl
awesome.
drummers.
And I just think like people always, if you're a drummer, you will always find people to play with, because people always need you.
Yeah.
But I hope that she loves music and wants to play and wants to learn everything. I think piano is a great basis for just understanding how things work, that I also wish I had given more time to.
Right, I didn't start that till way later.
But obviously no pressure, whatever she loves, but hopefully surrounding her with it will
something will
show
come.
her that the opportunity is there if she wants to.
That one of my favorite things I miss now that the boys are out of the house is the music, the noise. I miss the noise. Mm-hmm. So if you want to bring her over, she can drum over here. Aww. Just don't tell my husband or Leo, the dog. Anyway, but speaking of kids, Siena was so kind to sing a song of mine with me today, and it's called Love the Love, and it's about a day that my eldest son called me for a play date and how overjoyed I was. And I really enjoy getting to play it with you. So I hope you like it. It's called Love the Love. Today was a lovely surprise. Last minute call to spend some time with you outside. I wonder, do you realize time spent with you lights me inside? We ran to the sea to go explore. Waves flash like diamonds, like I've never seen before. A date with you down by the shore. I could not have asked for more. And I love the love you are giving me, like a long warm hug sent from the sun. This is how talks today came easily. Dolphins swam by like they were listening gingerly. Made us smile tender and sweet. Could they tell how much you mean to me? These moments I try to keep forever and not slip by. I love the love you were giving me, like a long warm hug sent from the sun. And this is how I hoped it'd be. I so enjoyed getting to play the ukulele on Annette's Duets, but playing it with you and having you back up and sing, I just so enjoyed singing with you, Siena.
That was so fun. Yeah. Thank you for that opportunity.
So awesome.
And it's so, I just love your last album that was focused on songs about being a mom, and it's really cool to see that from different perspectives because
I've got 20 years on you.
You're like, they've left home now, and but so many of your songs make me cry and just tear up, like thinking about.
That makes me happy.
It's just so precious. So
thank you.
Yeah, and being on as a new mom, it's
Well,
fun.
yeah, and as a mom that the kids have grown now, we kind of cling on to you guys and live vicariously.
Well, I will send you videos of Willow anytime.
Please, because she's precious, everyone. Oh my goodness, wait until you see.
Thank you.
But okay, so Siena, the world needs more of your beautiful energy, and I want to know, when can we expect this next release that I know is in the works?
Yeah, so I don't have a date, but it is getting pretty close. Just working on mostly mixing and finishing it up. So
okay.
Yeah, I think a single will be out hopefully this spring.
Oof, love
and
it.
then the album not too
Will
far
you
after that.
trickle them out little by little, or will you go?
I think I'm gonna do two singles, maybe 3, but
Okay.
then do the full album. So
It's so hard to do that.
yeah,
Because you're sitting on an
once you
album
got
and
it
it's
ready.
Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't even releasing albums.
I know.
They'll like just do singles, but I still have that,
You have a body of work.
and I have a soft spot for albums. It's just like,
So do
even
I.
if nobody listens to the full thing anymore, I like that.
I like it too. I like the concept idea too.
Yeah.
Even though the first one I just threw everything in, it was a mixy, but
Mhm.
and I like that too. But I do like having a body of work.
Yeah.
But, yeah. You say, and you can say I've got some albums. I mean, you're
Yeah.
right. I've got an EP, an
Mhm.
album,
Yep.
and you've already released a bunch of singles and
Yeah, a
videos,
few.
right?
Mhm.
This girl's got content. So you will see, I'll have her information go across and you'll see. And Siena, when your album comes out, please, will you come back and we can do this again?
Yeah.
Maybe
let's
summer,
do
it'll
it.
be 100 degrees and we won't be in sweaters, but that's okay.
That would be nice. I'm more of a warm weather person, so I look forward to that. Sitting
Please,
out here in the summer.
you are
with
welcome anytime on Annette's Duets. And thank you so much for being here today. And thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
you.